Edgewood. And I want everybody to kind of introduce themselves, to say what they've done. Let's start with Deidre, the big executive producer.
Well, I'm Deidre, and I've worked here at USC Aiken since 1988 and have loved this house for many years.
And I'm Christy Kelker, and I was the writer and the director for the movie Edgewood, and it was a wonderful experience, and I guess we'll talk about that.
We sure will. I'm Maggie Morehouse, and I think I did makeup, I did baby wrangling, I did some historical consulting, which I think was helpful, Christy, and whatever it was that they called on me to do, I would do. So.
And I'm Judith Goodwin. I am the narrator of the documentary. I have been at USC Aiken for 3 years, and came to USC Aiken with some experience in some film production, so I was available to do the narration and the makeup and the costume and propping, whatever needed to be done at the time. I think that's pretty much everyone's role here.
And get the money.
Whatever. And, oh yeah, raising the money to support the project. Yeah, that was another task.
I'm Barbara Morgan, and I'm not exactly sure the official title. I got drug in, and
historical stylist.
A historical stylist, or prop diva, or whatever, mover, problem solver, contact person, fill in, do whatever we need.
That's right, you did fill in the court scene. You were one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was not in the documentary?
The only person not in it was Chris.
Yeah, I was not in it.
You were
not in the court scene.
No, but you were in the
movie.
yeah.
You were in the movie.
Yeah, I was in The Mother of the Bride.
You were the movie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And you put a hat on and hid in the audience at that
But
court
also,
scene.
she's
so
in the
that
last
you were
scene.
in the court scene.
Almost the last scene.
Yeah.
Oh, and
playing
then
official.
Right.
She had the privilege of playing herself.
Self, right,
Yeah.
right. Well, I don't know what historical consultants do or act like, so I guess I was playing myself too. Well, this project, we've been doing the Pick and Sally Symposium for Women at the university for a couple of years, and a couple of years ago, Christy and I worked on one about World War II women. Tell me a little bit about that when we were working on that.
That was called, was it Heroines?
Hometown
Heroines. 4 women remember Aiken during the Second World War. That wasn't the exact title, but and it was wonderful. And we did that through the university's studio, and got to thinking at that point about some other stories that might be told. And that was 2008.
So we saw, when we were doing this one interview of a woman that had been Hattie Settles, was her name, and she was talking about World War II, but then at the end she said, well, you know, I took care of Miss Sally, Eulalie Sally, and that she had worked in the house. And then she told this great ghost story about that we reenact in the film, and actually it's her granddaughter that plays the part of Hattie. Well, that, you know, got us to thinking, and we talked to other people, kind of got involved in the story, a little bit ghost story. But I think, Deidre, you had always wanted to do something with the house too, the story. So,
Well, when I had the good fortune to work in this building as my office on campus, I just got fascinated with the history of the women who had lived here and the families who had lived here, and started reading about it, and in a way became the unofficial historian of the house. And people would say, well, you need to talk to Deidre if you want to know about the Pick and Sally house. But along the way we started this symposium because I wanted a way to honor the memory of these wonderful folks that lived in the house. So as time goes on, and as this film has shown, we drag other people in. So when Maggie started working here, I dragged her into my symposium, and she wouldn't be on my committee, but she would help me. That's what she said. So she did, and after the World War II segment, she and I were talking one day, and then we had met Christy and knew about her skills, and so I said, gosh, I just wish we could tell the stories. There's so many great stories. And she said, well, we can make a documentary. And I said, well, we don't know anything about that. She said, well, that doesn't matter. And so fearlessly, or fearfully sometimes,
Yeah.
we launched into this project, and it's been wonderful.
Well, I think another tribute to both ladies, Eulalie Sally and Lucy Pickens, was when the house was moved here. It's now called the Pickens Sally House, and that's how you also pay respect to these women.
And the historical marker out front that people can read the two sides of it too. But to be in the physical location, which we did a lot of filming here too. Barbara, tell us some of the fabulous things you had to set up that were here.
Well, we got the present chancellor out one afternoon because we destroyed the front porch. We had to take away all the fine furnishings and put nasty cloths and I think just a touch of realism, a dead squirrel.
Which we found.
We were fortunate.
We did not kill. No
animals were
killed.
harmed in
None.
the making of this docudrama.
But that was to portray
And no children.
the Pickens Sally House as when it was in the state
When it
of
was found.
abandonment.
Yes, when it was found.
So
by
we had to
Eulalie.
recreate that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was
We
fascinating.
threw dirt all over the place, and then the
Smoke.
dirt had to be, and there was smoke coming out, and, yeah.
But then we changed and we dressed it up and we had her night, her New Year's Eve, 1940,
1940.
and dressed her up and had a party.
And that's one of my favorite scenes, is the sort of people dancing through in the different eras, and that you can feel those kind of presences. That how did you get the inspiration for that particular part of
The ending.
the dancing?
Well, we focused a lot on the veranda, we call it, or the porch, because we really felt like that's probably where so much of it happened. That's the front porch that everyone enters into the house. And I had some inspirational moments out there myself, coming and doing the story and doing the research for the story. Many times I sat out on the porch and got a lot of inspiration. I don't know exactly where it came from, but that's the way this house is. It draws you in and you're involved in the story.
Well, actually, Christy was writing the script one day, called me. I was the last one here, and she said, "Can I just come over and walk through the house just for some inspiration?"
Yeah, and what happened is, this is a pretty good story. We went up, I think we went up in the attic that day too. It's the first time I'd been upstairs, and this was this time last year maybe.
It was Battle of
Yes,
Bacon.
it was
Yeah,
so
it was
fabulous.
fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Which
so
is
I,
February 2009.
yeah. So I came and I sat on the front porch as people were leaving. So it was 5 o'clock or something, and I was working on the part of Lucy Pickens and just trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to tell the story or how it wanted to be told. So I was sitting on the front porch, and what I said is, I just need to know. And so I told that I was channeling Lucy, just to get some insight. So fast forward to the next day, Judith calls me and says, "What are you doing? Get over here now." So this was about 3 o'clock the next day. So I live about 5 minutes from the university. I drive over, and as I pull up, I see Lucy Pickens and General Robert E. Lee standing on the front porch.